Well, good afternoon. This is Mr. Not Advice. It's Thursday, August 27th, 2026. End of the day update. As always, this is for entertainment and education purposes only. Back to it after a couple day break that I needed to take. All right. So everything today was about software as well as NVIDIA. NVIDIA had a huge relief rally, but I'm actually looking to short it because six out of the last seven earnings reports after they get their post earnings bounce the day after, the stock then starts going down. So I have a level already set. I will look to short that versus NVDL, which is the Ultra NVIDIA ETF. But NVIDIA was able to trigger a huge relief rally in AI and software, as Just Jake always likes to look at. Breath was absolutely terrible today. But let's take a look at the overall market. First of all, oil got a pump today after Trump told mediators he's uninterested in returning to terms of a June ceasefire deal signed with Iran. Although behind the scenes, there's a fair amount of political activity going on. So as long as they're talking, they're not bombing. So that's a good thing. And that will put oil and the Iran war to the sidelines. Although I am keeping an eye on crack spreads, heating oil. I spent a fair bit amount of time today trying to figure out how I could get long heating oil because with refined products, remember, there are no strategic reserves. They simply, the refiners are running at full capacity right now. And so it's a mechanical function that they simply cannot refine more. Although Trump did announce that he's meeting with some of the largest refining company management next week. I don't know what he could possibly say. Maybe he could tell them, you guys have incredibly high profit margins. Maybe you want to compress those. I think good luck with that. So, uh, tech absolutely outperformed today on the back of NVIDIA's earnings, as well as CRM's deal optimism with Anthropic. So we had a double whammy of positive bullish news for the market. Just taking a look at NVIDIA's 60-minute chart today, you can see that it just flew. And then we have also IGV here. I'm sorry, we have CRM back at highs we have not seen since back in January. Looking at the overall market, though, the other positive sector today were energy stocks as crude prices rose. Pretty much everything else was lower, either other than technology and energy today. As I mentioned earlier, we had tech strength lifting the Nasdaq and the S&P, but gains faded in the late afternoon when we saw oil prices rally. The Dow was the day's laggard today with a very small gain, and Nasdaq went out at the highs of the day today. But it wasn't all AI stocks today, as the initial rally, they pretty much gave back all of their gains for the day. AI data centers and optical networking lagged today, while AI software was its biggest gainer today. In fact, today was the second best day since Liberation Day back in March for software. However, underneath the surface, breath was a complete disaster today. So while you had rising stock prices today, you did not have the second component, which is needed, which is volume, um, which would help make the case that this will turn into a sustained rally. Also, as I told members today, remember that of the last 60 years, the month of August or the month of September through the midterm elections has been negative with every single midterm election period, with the average return drop being -3%. August is historically one of the worst months in the market, could be made worse this year with the midterm elections. Of course, with the type of market we've had this year, seasonality has become much less trustworthy than in previous years. Treasuries were caught between pretty resilient data and rising oil prices. The new initial jobless claims fell to 203,000, which signals that the labor market remains firm. However, sticky underlying inflation, probably largely due to rising oil costs and refined products, keeping another Fed rate hike in play. Bitcoin today was able to get almost up to 81,000 before giving back a little bit of gains. Looking tomorrow at Fed Chair Kevin Warsh at Jackson Hole. Somebody asked me today, why are you trading in front of that? My response was, I think it's going to be immaterial. I think he's already telegraphed what he's going to say. And this comes out of Goldman Sachs One Delta desk head, Rich Privorotsky, who I think is a pretty smart guy. He thinks it's going to be a nothing burger. His comment, quote, "We do not expect Warsh to provide strong hints about the Fed's decision in September." He thinks that he is likely to acknowledge the better recent inflation news while reiterating the 2% target and discussing broader issues such as productivity and global shocks without giving explicit policy guidance. Goldman One's read is effectively that better June July inflation data strengthen the argument for remaining on hold. But it's still a higher elevated risk event. Adding to the commentary I just made about the lack of breadth in the market, we have leverage extended by dealers. So the amount of money that they're borrowing against their portfolio is not going up after the recent retrace. If it were going up, that would be additional dollars coming into the market, signaling a more bullish outlook. On top of that, we also have macro funds are effectively back to flat on a 20-day moving average basis in stocks. What's really interesting about this, it was only a few weeks ago that this index of macro funds was at a 6 to 7 year high. And so there has been a ton of deleveraging as well as risk selling or selling to remove risk as we enter this September period. Looking at overall stocks today, one of the things I want to point out was Nike. So, Nike today, we entered the trade, did very well until this happened, which was right here near the lows of the day. We saw a price spike on news that Nike had named a new chief commercial officer. That spiked the algos, and they were able to hold those gains. I think with Nike, I entered the trade this morning, and I believe I'm flat to maybe down 1% in it. We also entered TMC today. TMC had a very good day, quietly climbing up here. I would say we're still pushing against this resistance level, and we need to get a clean break above it. But I like that trade. Wheat again today had a very good day amid growing reports that I'm seeing on social media about the incoming food crisis. So, how much more gas does this have? This is the second day in a row that we've had really, really massive volume relative on a standard deviation basis. EOSE had a nice press release today updating some details about their move and its progress. Although it was light on detail, they did, in my mind, reaffirm guidance for the year. What what else are they going to do? They're not going to tell a newspaper they're going to miss earnings. But there were some interesting tidbits from it. One of the interesting tidbits is they're going to remain at the old facility. At least some of the packaging and shipping is going to remain at that facility, which is 45 minutes away. That might be more a subject or might be more of a result of the political dynamics that are in the state of Pennsylvania. Hat tip to our member at Requinar as he lives there and understands that market quite well than anything else. And so they laid off 251 employees. Nathan is gone from the company. I wasn't aware that he was a remote worker. So good riddance, I suppose. Other than that, the market remains. I am going to look to short Nvidia. I've got a couple trades I'm lining up for tomorrow. One of them being SBET. SBET did break out, and the last time it broke out, we just completely missed the trade right here. And so, after consolidating for a number 3 days, it's breaking out again. I like this chart. I like the angle of the 45-day standard deviation channel, something I use quite a bit. And hopefully, we were able to get two trades off today, and hopefully, one of them being for Fight Club members. and hopefully we'll be able to enter some more trades tomorrow. I'm less concerned about entering a trade with the Kevin Warsh speech tomorrow, because I do think that it's going to be a big nothing burger. So next week is the last full week before Labor Day. We have a late Labor Day this year. So hopefully looking to enter some trades tomorrow as well as next week. I have made the decision that I'll be scaling quicker and run much tighter stops, at least in this market, until I have some trades that show me truly momentum is able to have follow through beyond just one single 24-hour period. EOSE, I did raise or lower my price entry level now. It's sitting here around 382, but I'm also looking to the downside because I think 311 could come into play, and I will look to short it there via puts. I think EOSE is a 2027, 2028 story, much to the chagrin of my leaps, of course, which expire in January 2027. But I do think I'll have a chance to roll those depending on continuing updates, but most importantly, success for their move and for their ramp up of line 2. So I hope you had a good trading day. I did, and look forward to talking with all of you tomorrow.
Yeah, we gon' make it out. It don't get no greater. Feel like I'm on fire. Feel like I'm Johnny Storm. Feel like I'm volatile, explosive. Get close enough, you'll notice your girl act out of character.